Welcome to my little podcast about traveling and being a knitter while traveling. So, I've been away, I've been traveling for 6 weeks without any good access to Wi Fi. I've totally underestimated the value of a very good Wi Fi connection. McDonald's Wi Fi is not a good Wi Fi connection. um, I don't even know how to begin this now. I've got so much to tell you. I've done so much. I can't even comprehend how to begin. This is actually my second time filming this because I didn't realize that technology had fun making me look like an idiot. So here I am again, and I still don't know where I am because I told you everything before, but now to tell you everything again. I hope I don't miss anything. So let's start off. The last time you saw me, I was in Cairns, which is in Queensland, which is the northern part of Queensland. And we had bought a van and we'd done some touristy things around Cairns. And then we set off, and that was it. It took me a long time to get internet good enough. I was actually in Sydney by the time I uploaded that Cairns episode. And we'd done so much, and we travelled so much, and we'd seen so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include a few little videos at the end of this podcast of just some incredible things that I've seen. Mainly it's to do with water and animals. I saw some dolphins, we went whale watching. So I'll pop those in at the end. So I think you might like that. I loved it. They are some of them are what I've been putting up on Instagram as little clips, and that's kind of the way I've been letting you know what's going on if anybody's interested. So this is episode 9. I haven't even told you who I am. I'm Grace. I go by the name of Vanna Willamille on Instagram and Ravelry, and I've been told that there's far too many R's and L's in that name, and I'm like, I know. It's just I didn't anticipate when I took that difficult name that no one else would have, how difficult it would be for people to find me. And on that subject, it was Marsha who informed me of this, and I was like, I know. But she was doing some things really, really sweet for me. Marsha from the Twitch and Stitch podcast, or Very Little, as she's called. And she has donated my first ever prize for this podcast. So I'm going to do my first ever giveaway. I'm going to set up a thread in the Ravelry group, pop over there and join. And I want you to tell me, what is the one place in the world, if money was no object, if time and responsibilities were no object, that you would be there in a shot, and why? What knitting would you bring? So pop over there, and I will do the random number generator thing that everyone seems to do, and probably on my next episode or the episode after, if nobody has posted, and I'll be like, do it. So it's for the Schmancy shawl, which is a beautiful it's a semicircular. I don't even think it's semicircular. I think it's like 3/4 circular shawl, and it's lace, and it's delicious. I have been experimenting with lace. I have been experimenting with cables. I have been experimenting with shawls, hats, and sweaters, and I'm going to show them all to you as I talk through what I've been doing. I am probably going to miss out a lot of the stuff I've done. If you want to have a little look at what I've been doing, pop over to my Instagram, and I've just putting everything up there with little descriptions as to where I've been. It's mainly been beaches. And, I never thought I'd get tired or sick of beaches, but I was like, this is another lovely, beautiful beach. Oh, it's another beautiful beach in paradise. Oh my gosh. How crazy is that I have the opportunity to say that? Bad. Anyway, so we left Cairns and we went up to Port Douglas, and we went to Mosman Gorge, which is this beautiful gorge, and just before it is an Aboriginal settlement, and they advise you to take the bus through the Aboriginal settlement so there's not loads of tourists wandering around while they're just, going around their normal lives. And it was fascinating walking through this rainforest and then seeing this absolutely beautiful swimming hole. We forgot our swimming togs, of course. We didn't realise you could swim in Mosman Gorge because we didn't look it up before we went, which was very smart. But we got in anyway. I got in anyway. We met these people who found a little creek, and they were all just in their clothes, and they were like, "Come in, it's fine, it's warm enough, you'll dry off." And I was like, "Okay." So I dived in, and James was like, so jealous. Yeah, so that was really, really nice. And then we went over to Port Douglas, and it was our first trip in the vans. We were finding out quite a lot of things about the van. What we found out mostly was that James loves to drive. Now, James has been learning how to drive, and he only started learning how to drive in January. And he did really fast track courses, and he had, oh my gosh, it was so close. But he had his driving test the day before he was due to leave to come down to move, to come down for a year to Australia. And unfortunately, he failed his exam. Now, everybody fails the first time. I failed the first time. Everybody fails the first time. And with so much pressure as well, poor guy. But he was still able to drive. We popped into the DMV type place here, and we were explaining the situation. And they were like, well, it's you've got a license, you've got a learner's permit, and I've been driving for 10 years, so you can drive as long as you're driving with her. And I was like, awesome. So he did all the driving. And I did all the knitting. So the last time I saw you, oh God almighty, holy moly. Oh no, it's okay. That was a whole all right. This is my holy garment, also known as the Narita Express from Marsha, and I've been knitting this. I was knitting this in Cairns. You saw this little probably. This little bit. Oh, sorry, it's backwards. So you saw this little bit, and I finished it. This was such a quick knit. It was crazy fast, and I learned so much about shawl construction. I couldn't comprehending the just. It's so simple. I think I've just been so. As a new knitter, you start off and you learn squares, and that's it. And you think, that's it now. And then I was learning tubes, and I was like, oh, well, that makes sense. You're just knitting around and around. It's fine. And people are knitting these shawls and these garments, and I was like, this is really complicated. I don't know how I'm going to do this. How do they knit in triangles? How do they do it? And then I just read a pattern, and that was it. That's all I had to do, was read the pattern and read the construction, and genius. So I wore it like this because we didn't have any air conditioning. So I just wore it as a bandana to keep my hair from flying all over the shop. I think it should be worn whatever way you like. And I love it. Look at the little island. Now, there's a million mistakes in this, as anybody who knows anything I make, it is a experiment. And there's this beautiful applied border, applied edging. My first shawl, and I did an applied edging. How crazy skilled am I? Skills. And this is how I think you should wear it. Like this. This is how people in the future are going to wear shawls. Yeah. Hot stuff. So, it's made from, where is it? There it is. Hedgehog fibres. And this is the yarn that was my lovely boyfriend brought down. My lovely mother packed it in a suitcase and then shipped it to my lovely boyfriend, and then he brought it down. It's come a long way. It's hedgehog fibres, sock yarn, and it's the loopy colourway. And this is the first proper like fingering weight that it's been called fingering weight, and it's just so drapey and delicious. Look how it like just hangs. It's like, oh, I'm just this super. I don't want to. No, okay. I was gonna use some rude words, but I won't. It's just awesome. It's just cool. I feel good. I feel pretty. So I finished that in like, oh God, I don't know, a week. Because all we were doing was driving and stopping to eat, and then driving and stopping to eat and driving, and then stopping to eat again, and then driving. And all of the knitting, and sometimes eating, I was knitting. All of the driving, I was knitting. Did I say that right? I don't know. We'll figure it out. So after that, we started going down past Cairns. So Port Douglas is above Cairns, about an hour. And then we went down past Cairns, and we stopped off in Mission Beach. Mission Beach is just miles and miles and miles of stunning beach, and they're all beautiful. They're all gorgeous, gorgeous. But you can't swim in them. The beaches in northern Queensland are high. There's a high risk of box jellyfish and stingers, which are other types of jellyfish, and crocodiles. And there have been several stories this summer of like women just, or people. I think there was the story of a man, there was the story of a child, there was the story of a woman who were, I don't know, drunk or just too close. Not the child, of course. And they were just attacked and dragged into the water. So 10 meters away, 10 feet, is it 10 feet? 10 meters? Go 10 meters. It's just safer. Just safer. Just don't go in the water in Queensland. It's just bad. Well, northern Queensland. So we continued going down south. We stopped off in Townsville. We went to Magnetic Island. And Magnetic Island was called Magnetic because Captain Cook, when he was first sailing up the coast, thought that the island was making his compass and his what are they called, equipment to like fail, but that's never really been noticed, and it's probably just his machine were just a bit messed up that day. I don't know why, but it's called Magnetic Island, and I was like, well, we have to go out and see. So we rented a tiny little pink car and we drove around the island, and we saw all the beautiful islands, and that was special. We went down then to Airlie Beach, which is the kind of the setting off point for the Whitsunday Islands. Oh my gosh, you guys. I've never seen more beautiful colours in my life. You know the way I'm obsessed with like this colour, right? This colour, and this colour, and this colour, and ooh, hey, this colour. So imagine all of these colours. Wait, how do we do this? Make it pretty. Have I lost it? I don't know. So all of these colours, right? Except in reality, in the ocean. I'm going to put in a photo here just to show you how beautiful it is. And it's because this sand is made of silica, which is just silica is just a type of mineral that's pure white, and each of the molecules of sand are exactly the same diameter. So when you walk on the sand, it actually squeaks underneath your feet. It was so cool. I put up a video on Instagram of that. I think I had to delete it though, just to get more space on my phone because I need more pictures. But I put it on Instagram. You can have a look and see. That was just beautiful. We spent some money going to like certain places and doing things, but we did have a limited amount of money. So on the whole trip all the way down, I actually did not buy any yarn. Sorry, you guys. We didn't buy any yarn. But my boyfriend had just brought me an entire trunk of yarn. I really did not suffer. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to spend the money on yarn when we really needed to eat. and have somewhere safe to stay sometimes. So we chose to do that instead and spend the money on really nice experiences as well. So, and petrol. That little van goes through petrol. I mean, it's extremely cheap here, really cheap, like unbelievably cheap. It's probably exactly half the price is what it is in the UK. Like Australian dollars, it's probably about 120 Australian dollars, and 120 is 120 is 60 pence, 60p, 60p a litre. That's how much it costs. Crazy. But and then we carried on down, and we arrived in 1770, and it's a weird name for a town, but I'll tell you why it's called that. It's called that because Captain Cook landed on this beach on his navigation of the east coast of Australia, and the Australians are what's the word? Very literal when it comes to their names. Basically, it was the first time that Westerners had set foot on the land, so they just named it after the year, and you're like, all right. Like other things is Pretty Beach, Pebbly Beach, Sandy Beach, Wet Creek, Blue Creek, Green Creek, Deep Creek. You're like, I think I saw like a Green Creek like 200 kilometers that way. Like, can you just, okay, fine, that's fine. Oh, wow. I think I'm used to things being called, like in Ireland and England and Scotland, like things are named so long ago that the names have changed over time. Like the Irish names mean specifically something in Irish, and then the English came over and anglicised all of our names, so they're slightly different now. Like Cork is Corkig in Irish, and Limerick is Limonach. So Limonach is the Irish and Limerick is the English. So it's, you see how someone came over and goes, how do you say, what, where are we? And someone goes, Limerick. And they'll go, oh, Limerick, all right. So you can kind of understand. So I'm not used to things being so literal, like being like, oh, this is Rocky Wall. You're like, really? Okay. Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast. And you're like, oh, that's the colour of the sand. I like the way you've done that. Oh, that's interesting. I find it interesting. There's lots of interesting things here. We travelled down then to Noosa Heads. I don't know what that means. That could be an Aboriginal word. That doesn't sound literal to me. And that's a beautiful place that I met one of the girls that I used to work with over in Perth, because she's travelling up the coast and we were travelling down the coast. So we just met right in the middle, smack bang in the middle. And we spent the day walking up and around the headlands and the beach, all the different beaches, and that was really nice. And there was an amazing marathon. I think it was an ultra marathon happening. I just can't even comprehend the amount of work that goes into that. I'm like, whoa. And there was a guy who was finishing the marathon, and he was in a wheelchair. He'd done the whole thing in a wheelchair, like swimming, biking, everything. And in the last bit, he had the wheelchair along the beach, and he just gave up and just went on his hands and knees and just like pulled himself along with his hands and knees. And I was just like, what am I doing in my life? I have achieved nothing compared to this man. Oh, it was beautiful to see, but kind of depressing. We travelled down then to the Sunshine Coast and Brisbane. We spent some lovely time in Brisbane. Brisbane's a beautiful town, beautiful city. We spent some money renting an apartment for two nights there, and I met another friend of mine. I met two friends of mine actually in Brisbane, and that was so lovely to catch up with them. And one of the girls, Michelle, I met her in Burma when I was travelling recently, and she started knitting. So she's on Instagram now, and she and her mother is helping her out, and she's making like a scarf, but she's like changing colors and blending colors all the way. So she's all those ends on the side, and I was like, you didn't just buy color changing yarn like I would do, like a cheater. And she's like, no, there's such a thing as color changing yarn. I was like, oops, I forgot to tell you. Oh, never mind. Good luck with those ends. Sorry, Michelle. It's gonna look incredible. I'm really impressed with you. Super impressed. And then we were talking, we went out to lunch, or we went out to dinner, and we were saying, oh yeah, we're going to go to Australia Zoo, Steve Irwin's Australia Zoo, because James is like, it's the entire reason he wants to come to Australia, is to see the zoo. And she was like, which direction are you heading? And we were like, oh, we're going down. And she's like, oh, because it's up. You missed it. And we were like, what? No. So we went back up. It's only an hour up outside Brisbane, and we spent the whole day there. And this is where we got Kylie the koala. She/he is my co-host, and she's super furry, nice. And yeah, she was our little mascot. He, I'm not sure. We're not sure. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to be, Kylie, that's fine. Mwah. Okay, back there now. She's happy. He's happy. Happy. Yeah, so then we passed down straight through. Sorry if I'm rushing through this. I'm worried that I'm going to run out of memory again, because I had to delete like all videos that I had previously had. So I was like, oh, sorry if I'm rushing. But I'll add on the extra videos afterwards to make it long. So I had, while we were travelling down, I definitely finished the Narita shawl by then. So this is a shawl that I cast on pretty much immediately after I finished the Narita. And it's my Budding Bluebells shawl. And I haven't put it in the cal yet, Mina. I'm so sorry. This is Mina Phillips. Knit Along pattern. She's running it with Nicola, the Hugh Loco podcast, and I made it out of 80% cotton and 20% acrylic, which is why I think it's not blocked out properly. You see the edges kind of rolling up a little bit. Maybe I didn't do enough of the garter edge. I just wanted to finish it. I was like, I want it now, and I love it. Look at the colors. It's like a mint. It's much more green than on the screen there. I think it's blowing it out a little bit, but it's so delicious. And you see that lovely pattern. I totally messed up on the first rounds because I was doing it completely wrong. So this line is messed up. That's okay. It's not a Grace original without terrible mistakes. But I love the way it like curls around down there, and it's just so nice. I think it's even nice just as a little shawl like this. I was wearing it when I was down in Melbourne because it was cold in Melbourne, but it's almost just too nice. It's like a decorative piece. It's my first time doing lace. Okay, I could show you the lace. I'm so talented, you guys. So look at it. This is my new method of showing things. It's the head method. I think it's a good way. Oh, look at those little bluebells. Little bluebells, and they're budding up here. That's my nose. See, this is how you should wear it. Oh, it looks a bit Lady of Ireland, doesn't it? Looks a bit little Irish refugee coming to New York for the first time. Staten Island. Hello, I don't speak in English. I just watched Gangs of New York the other day, and I was like, oh my god, this happened. Great. Ooh, my hair looks red with the green. Oh, I love that. My hair is not really that red. It's more just brown. But yes. Yeah, Gangs of New York. Whoa, what a film. What a film. Leonardo DiCaprio. What's that noise? What on earth? It's fine. So it's probably doing their laundry, and that's the sound of the laundry room. We haven't really figured out yet. So Kylie's going to wear that actually. So she's going to glam up. Glam yourself up, Kylie. She'll boil. Like a little nest. So, well, I really, really enjoyed that. I need to take pictures of that and send it into the cow, really. Oh, because I can win prizes now, you guys. I've gotten a dress. Whoop, 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 whoop. I have never appreciated having an address more in my entire life. So I'm going to put my will. Oh my god. I'll put a picture of that in too. No, I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to take you over. Watch out, guys. Sorry. Oh, this is in the way. That's not very good. So, wait a second. My wool is just here. Get out of the way. So I've just got it nicely stacked. Aren't they cute? I think that's originally for like a computer or something, but I'm like, get out of my way. I don't need no room for a big stack. Unless it's wool. Whoop. So, it's an exciting little field trip. Where was I? So we went to Australia Zoo. We learned about crocodiles and we got to pet koalas. And we saw one eating, which was the cutest thing alive. I'll put in a video of that as well. So cute. That's on Instagram too, but and we travelled down into New South Wales and we crossed over and we went to Byron Bay. Byron Bay, you beautiful thing. That was the first place that I saw real wildlife in the wild. I saw dolphins surfing on the sea, like on the waves, and it was gorgeous. We went on lovely walks up and around there, just gorgeous. And Byron Bay itself is a really cool place to be. You know, it's just really, really nice and chill out. On my birthday then, it was around my birthday at the end of May, and I got a lovely present actually from Melanie Douglas, the Moville market bag pattern. She's Knitting Mama 79. That was so sweet of her. And I think, hang on, yes! Oh my gosh, I can't believe I nearly forgot and I didn't write it down. Oh my gosh, Barbara sent me the fancy feet socks. That's the international symbol for fancy feet socks. See? And she sent me that pattern as a present as well, which was so lovely of her. Thank you so much, Barbara. And thank you so much, Melanie. And thank you so much, guys. I really felt really appreciated. That was lovely. We spent the whole day just chilling out at a beautiful caravan park on Mooney Beach. And we did see a full moon over Mooney Beach. And the next day I got up really early and I watched the sunrise on the first day of my 29th birthday, and I was like, this is going to be a great year. It's going to be a good year. And it has been. So, hey, awesome. I'll take it. So we travelled down then just along the coast. I mean, there's a few unremarkable, I mean, they were all remarkable, but no like famous name places, you know, lots of little towns. The little towns and everything, they remind me of what I imagine. I haven't been to like America, you know, the small towns in America, but they're what I imagine them to be. You know, you've got your general store, like it's like the Wild West style towns. You know, you've got your general store, you've got your bar, you've got your bottle shop, your alcohol shop, and you've got that's it really. You get tiny towns with, you know, all of these little local places and then nothing else for miles and miles and miles, and it's just really, really interesting, but it's much more American than I imagined it would be. I mean, and there's some extremely English influences as well, British influences too, and loads of Irish influences, because a lot of the streets and names are Irish, because I think there were a lot of Irish immigrants who came over and built a lot. But I think maybe it's just this provincial kind of, not provincial, what's the word? Kind of frontier, maybe the frontier idea, where you're branching in from the coast to go inland, is more of the American idea of, you know, branching in across America the way it used to be. Yeah, very interesting seeing it from the road, you know. Once we got down past Sydney, actually, the road, the A1, just became absolutely beautiful. Like, just endless vistas of beautiful green lands. It started feeling a lot more like England. once we got into, say, southern New South Wales and Victoria, you just got these like rolling hills and like really pretty uh, tree lined areas, and oh, it's just really, really pretty. Anyway, I've gone too far, I've gone past myself. So we stopped off in one of the most famous whale spotting areas, which is Nelson Bay in Port Stephens, and I'll put in a video of the whales we saw. We went out the first day and we didn't see anything. So if you don't see anything, you get to go out the second day, another time, to make sure you get your whale watching deal, because it's quite expensive. It's not too expensive. It was about $60 each for about 3 hours whale watching. But the second time we saw a turtle, we saw 2 whales, a mummy and her baby, who had a baby from last year, her calf from last year, because it was quite big. And we saw seals, they were feeding on whitebait, and we saw, or bait fish I think they're called, and then we saw more dolphins. It was really, really beautiful the second day. We were like, so much nature, so many animals. So that was really awesome. The weather was a little bit worse, but sometimes that's, I don't know. It was fine, actually. It rained a little bit, but I saw whales. I don't care. They don't care none. So that was really nice. And then we went down into Newcastle. We stayed a night in Newcastle with a friend of mine's parents. Kind of rocked up and I was like, hello, do you mind having us? Is that okay? Hi. Because my friend Tracy, who I met in Prague and then met again in Dublin in Ireland, her room is free. And we just snuck in there and had a little kip in a real room with a real bed, bath and shower and teapot. So that was super nice. Thank you so much, Julie. That was really, really nice of you to have us there. We're friends on Facebook now. Facebook friends. Newcastle's a really nice place as well. We did the Anzac Bridge walk over the cross from beach to beach, and there's some incredible waves down in Newcastle. Oh, there was like the surf competition. So cool. And they've got this long point, I think it's called Noddy's Point, and it's really dangerous, like, area. And if there's a storm, it's called the ship's graveyard, and they have like plaques of all the ships and things that have crashed on this particular point. Yeah, there was another mention of Captain Cook, who'd sailed up and around the point, which was cool. Yes, and then we went down to Sydney. We spent 2 nights in Sydney, and we managed to catch the Vivid Festival, which is a massive light show, which takes over the city for about a month, and it's still going on actually. And it was really, really lovely. Like, we just managed to hit it right at the right time. We got an Airbnb in a city, and we got told by a garage that they wouldn't touch our van. We were like, fine, it's running fine. Let's just fingers crossed and hope it keeps going. It is so far. And then we left Sydney and we went inland towards the Blue Mountains, and we stayed up in the Blue Mountains in a little it's a free parking. It was like a, what's it called? Just a car park with a few fire pits and a few places for you to pull in, and you can stay overnight. And we'd set up a fire, and it was green, like we were able to set up the fire. It had to be in like a designated fire pit and stuff. And we had set up the fire and we'd started cooking some food, and another couple of camper vans showed up, like they were doing the same as us, kind of, they're a bit younger than us. Everyone doing this seems to be like in the 20-year age group, so I feel like such a mother to all of them. They show up and they've got like an avocado and a piece of bread, and I was like, that's our dinner. And I was like, you can't be serious. Oh my god, don't be ridiculous, sit down and let me feed you. So they had like, one of them had like some tomatoes and one of them had like peppers. So I just said, listen, give me what you have and I'll make some food. And I made a big sweet and sour dish with rice, and they had a big box of wine. Of course they had the wine, 20-year-olds. And we had such a brilliant night. We just sat around the fire, and I was knitting on my budding bluebells. I was going to say blueberry waffles, budding bluebells, and it was just wonderful. And I was very drunk by that night. I had not actually drank wine in so long because we were saving money, so we didn't really want to waste our money on alcohol because it's quite expensive. So so yeah, I had a pretty bad headache the next day. But we drove right down to this little place that we were they told us to go to because it was gorgeous. It's called Pebbly Beach. And the place was crawling with wildlife, there was kangaroos everywhere, like up in your face. They were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Whoa." And we'd lit another fire there. There wasn't anyone else there at that time. It was quite quiet. And um huge like trees. It was like in this big forested area. Getting down to it was like this really steep, like hairpin turn getting down from the mainland. And so we were eating the rest of because I always, no matter how many people I have for dinner, I always cook for at least 3 more people than that number. I have a problem. So we were eating that for leftovers, and I put the pot down because I still had too much left over. What is wrong with me? And whatever look I gave, I thought like a cat or something had jumped up and started eating it. Fat. And James put the light over, and it was a gigantic possum. It was so fat. It was like solid amount of possum. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, he was like looking at me, not afraid at all. He was like, "This is really nice. Yeah. What did you put in it? It's lovely." I was like, so yeah, you're not supposed to feed the animals, but they help themselves. So that was really funny. So we were listening for him all night. But it had started getting cold. It had started getting cold at night, so we got out the and it had gone from being way too hot and boiling hot, and you couldn't open the door for fear of like flies getting in and stuff, to being cold. And it was fine though, because we kind of made our way pretty much directly to Melbourne after that. We did go down to Eden, and we went to the Killer Whale Museum. And so Eden was another famous whaling station. Well, what happened was, right, set the scene. You're asleep, the morning's coming in, and then you hear this like wailing and splashing around outside your window. And you live down by the coast because you're a whaler. You look out the window and there's a giant killer whale, and he's trying to get your attention. And his name is Tom, and he and his crew, his pod of whales, have managed to herd a humpback whale or a right whale or a sperm whale into the bay, and you got to get out of bed because that's your job. So you hop out and you get in your boat and you row out, and the killer whales help you kill the whale, the bigger whale. So after that, then, as a reward, you would give Free Willy and his friends the tongue and the lips of the whale that you've just killed. And then you'd have to crate it back inland to boil it down into all the oil that it's really useful for. They have like the skeleton of, he's called Old Tom, is this whale, and he was this killer whale, and he was found, he died, and he was found in an inlet in the bay. And after he died, his pod of friends never came back. Possibly they realised that, no, they wouldn't have realised, but it was near the end of the whaling situation in Australia. And thank God for that. But it was such an interesting story, like madness that the killer whales like cooperated to, get a bit of dinner on the table. You got to do what you got to do. So after Eden, then we set off for Melbourne, and we arrived in Melbourne, and it was cold, and we were staying in a beautiful Airbnb. We stayed there for about a week and a few days extra on top of that. And I started looking for jobs, looking for work, and it took a lot longer than I anticipated. I didn't have as much money as I wanted to, but I never have enough money in my own head. I'm always worrying that I'll run out. So I'm always saving and scrimping, and I'll have to get over that because I know it's going to be fine. But I was offered a job in Sydney. So after spending about 10 days in Melbourne, we hightailed it up to Sydney to find some flats. And I still haven't started work yet because I'm waiting for some paperwork to come through. Paperwork is the bane of my life. And hopefully I'll be started on Monday. So we've been here about 10, 15 days or 13 days now. We've moved into a new flat. Oh, hello. Not right now, my love. So, sorry. We've moved into a new flat and we are ready to go. James has just finished work, I think, because that was him on the phone. And so he's got a few jobs like here and there, just temping in a couple of agencies and stuff. So yeah, he's the one earning the money and I'm just sitting here like a lemon waiting. But it gives me some time to knit, and I've been knitting so many things. When I was in Melbourne, I managed to finish these socks, which were supposed to be James's socks. But when he arrived and we tried them on, they didn't fit, as I may have told you in the Cairns episode. So I just finished them off for myself. But I finished them off in Cairns, and I didn't really weave in the ends very well there, but that's okay. They're only for me. There's a bit of a pink dye on them from my runners, but I've been wearing them constantly, and that's what socks are for, aren't they? Just for wearing. So that was really nice, and that was some yarn I got in Spotlight. I think they were called Not Just Socks, the yarn, and I don't know what colorway it was. I've lost the ball band. Sorry, you guys. So what else have I got to show you? Oh yes. So it was really cold down in Melbourne, so I decided to do a hat. And this is the Declan's hat I've been promising to do for James for months now. Months and months and months. And it's gorgeous. And he's got such a big head. It's so huge. Look at it. I've got a big head, but he's got a very big head. This is the biggest pattern, and she says, like, this is seriously a big hat. Only do this if you've got like loads of dreadlocks or something. But so this is Declan's hat by Samantha Kirby. Samantha Kirby. And it's a wonderful pattern, really nice. I followed the chart on the cables, but there is written instructions as well. I prefer the chart because I can just like keep track of it. I think I need to see what I'm doing. I can't. Reading, I screw it up. I screwed up a couple of things on the lace on this because there was. She had. I think she had. Did you have chart? Did you have charts as well? I can't remember. I didn't have it printed out, but I just downloaded it on my iPad. So, but I was following the written instructions because they were easier to see on the iPad. And yes, so he loves that, and he's been wearing it since we've moved back up to Sydney. Though it's gotten warm again, so he's not needed to use it. So, but that's okay. I need to start on his other socks, but that's in a minute. I'll show you them in a minute. What else have I done? Yesterday, so I've been having a dilemma. I can't really afford wool. I can't really afford nice yarn. So I was like, right, I'll go into an op shop, and because I was looking on Ravelry for a couple of the threads, and some people were saying that they were reusing yarn, so they'd go into the secondhand shop and find suitable jumpers to do that. And I went in and thought I could, have a little look, and nothing really kind of stuck out for me until I saw this, and it was gorgeous. Now, don't kill me, okay, guys? Don't kill me. So it's pure 100% cashmere, right? And it was originally like a pullover jumper. I separated out the parts, and then I started down here, just pulling it apart. But it's felted beyond anything that I can do anything with. The ribbing was done strangely that on the edges of each, where it changes from knit to purl, there's some sort of thing where they've gone right through or around or twisted, and you can't pull it apart. You can't pull the rib out. And then I separated it out and tried to get onto the main body, you know, and tried to pick apart, and that wasn't coming apart easily anyway. So I gotta give up on that idea. It didn't cost very much. It is lovely, but I'm going to turn these panels into little cushions. And I turned the sleeves into this little lovely thing, and it's just a big snake. It's like a draft excludery type thing, but we just have it on the bed. And I've named her. She looks like I think it's a she because she's got a bow. And this is from the towel set that we bought from IKEA. I've named her Naguni because her face is a little sideways and she looks a bit dorky. And I have a tendency for naming animals after Harry Potter characters. So this is Nagini's, like, you know, slightly kooky cousin, Naguni. Naguni. She's so cozy. Went to IKEA and I got like their cheapest, like, little pillow infiller. I just took the filling from that and just stuffed it in this. Yay! Little toy. So she's just living back there. Her and Kylie are getting on like a house on fire. Hey, you guys. Super good friends. Anyway. Stop it now, stop me. Oh, I forgot to mention the yarn that I got Declan's hat in. Oh my gosh, I wish I got more of this. Okay, this is from the Dream Girl Handmade Academy, and she's on Facebook, but I did buy this in Yangon in Burma, and I don't know if I can get more of it. I've got one more, a skein of like a deep purple, like a royal purple, but this yarn is so delicious to work with. I cannot stop squidging it. It is mixed cotton, acrylic and wool, machine washable. So it's very basic. Like, I don't know how it is, but it's so lovely. Like, it's really nice and really warm and like smooth. Like, there's something silky smooth about it and like cool. Like, I think it's the cotton. I think it's the cotton content that makes it, like, you need to mix cotton with something, but when you do, it just gives like if it's like mixed with something soft enough, it just gives a really like nice feel to it. I can't really explain it because, you know, you'd imagine cotton to be quite hard, but it is quite cold to the touch, isn't it, cotton? And I know there's something quite nice about that, quite satisfying. Oh, I love this hat. Anyway, sorry, forgot to mention that. Done that now. Job done. Nice. Next job. So when I was, it's a broken jumper, I'm sorry. I wish I could have done that properly. So you may remember when I bought a lot of yarn for a sweater. I cast on that sweater with the help of Marsha, the lovely fairy little, and her Patreon podcast, her Patreon page. She's doing a tutorial. It's like a really relaxed tutorial where you're just kind of sitting down with her and she's knitting it and she's showing you how she's doing it. So it's like, you know, we're just sitting down at a knit night or something, and it's lovely. It's a really nice way to do it. And she's like talking you through everything, and it's just lovely. She like, I really did it properly. You know, I did 3 swatches and then I measured myself. Well, no, I measured myself properly, and then I did 3 swatches, and then I calculated out everything. And it was weird because the yarn that I bought was actually a DK, and the pattern that she's using is I've lost it again now. Oh my gosh, no, I haven't. It is Flax by Tin Can Knits, and everybody knows this pattern. It's a free pattern, and it's based on doing your first sweater, and I've written all over it now. But let me see if I can see as well. Hello. So, hi. So this is Flax. This is all my calculations over here. So because I'm knitting a DK yarn, and this actually calls for a worsted weight, what I'm doing is, I don't know if you can see, but this is my ideal size according to my measurements, is the medium to large, but I'm actually knitting the large. And with my calculations, it works out that this is what, with my gauge swatch, which was I was getting 3.75 inches per, like, what was the gauge? What's the gauge? 18 stitches and 22 rounds. So I was getting 3.75 inches instead of 4 inches. So I calculated it out, and it was going to give me like a 40 centimeter bust if I was going to do the large size, which is my perfect size. So originally I was going to do the 39-inch bust size, which would have given me a negative ease of 1 inch, which was fine, because women fit like tighter fitting jumpers suit women a little bit more. And I was like, yeah, I kind of want that. But 40 inches is perfect. So I was like, oh, I'm going to do that. Absolutely. Kind of give me a little bit more space. And it's worked out so well. So my original inspiration for this was a Fat Face jumper, which Fat Face is a brand from the UK. And it was a mint green jumper, fully cabled all the way down. And I was like, oh my God, I need that in my life. I saw a friend of mine wearing it when I was in Denmark. And but as at my first, I think it was a pretty bad idea. Like, just there's so many things can go wrong with cables. But so I decided to modify the flax a little bit. I decided to leave out the garter ridges on the sleeves, and instead I was going to add a raglan on the either side of the raglan. I was going to add cables, and on either side of the cables was going to be the raglan increases. Now, this is not my idea. This is Marsha's idea. We were talking about this before she even opened the Patreon page, because I was talking about this. I was like raving about this garment, about this jumper or sweater for those in the UK or in the US, sorry. And sorry, I'm just thinking now. I was like, oh, hang on, did Canada do it as well? I'm like, I don't know. So it's a sweater, it's a pullover. Oh, I don't know what the word is. Some people get so confused. I know all the words, but some people don't. So yeah, so this because I was like raving about this one jumper that I wanted to make, and I was like asking her if she's seen any patterns that was like it. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to knit that. It's really nice. If I was knitting it, I would like do the raglan, raglan increases either side of the cables. And I was like, that's a great plan. So when I was following her pattern for this, I just like threw caution to the wind and just made it up, which is so bad. As well, the mint yarn, I think I spoke about this before. This is the minty colour. It's called Icy Green, and it's washing out a little bit there. But it's Australian Superfine Merino by Cleckheaton, and it's a delicious yarn. It's 100% merino. Sorry if it's not in there. Absolutely gorgeous, really, really nice. However, very expensive. So there was no way I could buy like 12 of these or 10 of these. These are 50-gram skeins, 50-gram balls. So I decided to do the collar, the cuffs, and the base ribbing, the bottom ribbing, in the mint, and then the main body in this, which is a beautiful blend of 50% Australian superwash merino and 50% cotton. And it has that really nice, cool, light kind of feeling again, like the hat, the cotton. I love cotton. I'm sorry now, lots of people don't like it, but when it's mixed with something, it can be so delicious. And this is so soft. I mean, it's not as squishy as the superfine merino. It's a little bit flatter. You can see it's a tiny bit flatter when it's in the ball. But it's as soft, and it has something really different. There's a bit of heathering in it as well. It's lovely. So I'm going to show it to you. I have to try it on though to show it to you because it's awesome. I love it. So look at this bad boy. It makes me so happy. Look at it. I've done one sleeve, I've done the body, I've done the cables either side, I'm on the second sleeve. I am nearly done. I am like 85% done. Yeah. So I'm going to try it on to show you because I can't stop trying this on. It's so lovely. So nice. Hang on, I'm not going to do this again. I put it on for the previous one that I did and I've just dropped loads of stitches. Life's for living. So, oh, look at this. It fits like a proper jumper, guys. Like I've never made anything properly for myself. That's not true, probably. I can't remember. But it's just so lovely. So the collar's pulling slightly on this side because of this sleeve. And it's going to join up, I'd say, hopefully. Wait, this side. Sorry, I'm getting confused. The camera's facing backwards. And it's just so lovely. And it fits really, really well. All the mats worked out. Yay! And look at this shape. And there's a little hole back there, but that's okay. I tied up this hole, so that's all right. So I might go back and tie this up again. But the raglan decreases worked really well. I did a bit of, oh my gosh, I'm going to fall. I did a bit of waist shaping on the side. Now my waist is actually kind of here. So I'm about 2 inches off on the center, but it's fine. I was thinking I was too tall. I was taller than I was. And I made the sleeves really long because, oh look, the decreases, you can see them. Look how nice they look. Oh, that makes me happy. Anyway, I'm addicted now, lads. There's no stopping me. I'm so happy with myself. I'm super proud of myself. It's crazy. And it's so soft. And it's like warm, but then not too warm. It's perfect. I love it so, so much. And I just love touching these, which is weird. Is that weird? I just love it. The cables are just really tactile. I'll just be wandering around like this the whole time. People will think I'm odd. Strange. Never had that before. Not. Okay, time to come up. I have this terrible fear that it's just gonna fall apart. I know it's not, but I just have this fear, like, what if it just falls apart? What if I've done it all wrong? What if I've knit wrong? What if I'm wrong? And all this time has gone to waste and all this money. Oh my God. No, calm down. Calm down. It's beautiful. So many possibilities, you guys. Possibilities. So that's making me super happy. Look, you can fold it. It's like a proper sweater. If you saw that in a... What's that? Oh, it's the needle. It's all right. I was like, oh, that's better. That's nice. So that's what I've been doing. So the second last thing I'm going to show you. I'm just showing you everything. I'm not holding anything back. Episodes after this are going to be very boring because I'm a slow knitter and I've had 6 weeks. So it's not really that bad, is it? 2 shawls, pair of socks, a hat, and most of a jumper in 6 weeks. That's not bad at all, is it? Thanks. So my boyfriend's socks. The saga continues. No pattern is big enough to fit him. He's got really wide, like his heel to top, like his heel to the top of his foot. It's just very, very big, and you have to be able to get your sock over that. So I've taken all his measurements. I am doing a gauge swatch for a sock, and I'm going to calculate my own sock pattern. That's love, you guys. Love. Now, I know I should be doing this in the round, shouldn't I? I'm going to have to do it in the round. I'm doing his next socks out of West Yorkshire Spinners. This is for the heels, cuffs and toes, actually. And I'm hoping to get 2 sets of heels, cuffs and toes out of a whole set of West Yorkshire Spinners signature 4-ply. And this is from the spicy range, I think, spices. It doesn't say it on here which one it is. It's a really nice kind of warm orange. So it's not like a right in your face neon orange. It's really nice, and it's going to hopefully set off the tones of these, which is the Regia Shanmaya 4-ply. I think this is in the fall night colorway, but I am not, probably not fall night or summer night or something. It's in the night, one of the nights. So it's going to really pick up on those little pops of orange, which is going to make me happy. So I think they'll be pretty. And these are inspired by a pair of socks that either Sue or Chelsea knit from the Legacy Knits podcast. And I can't tell who did what, because you guys, you do the same things. You copy each other, so I can't remember which one does what. But I was totally inspired by your pattern. I think it was like a red. You did like a red heel, cuffs, heels, and toes on one of the Regia fall night colorways, or the night colorways, and it was just beautiful. So I got these ready to go, and so yes, that's what my plan is. Now I have a bit of a saga. I don't know if you're ready for this. We're at an hour now. Are you ready for this? This is a sad saga for me. Let me get my bowl. So, this is my bowl of minis in front of me here now. And I've been having some problems. So, first time I ever tried to start a sock yarn blanket. This is it. This is it. And it started off really well. Started off with this one, and that was fine. A little bit small, I thought, but I was like, oh, I'll just keep going. And then I went on to the second one. Now the second one is just way too small. Like this one over here is much smaller than this one here, and it's obvious because it's different weights of yarn. And I was like, oh crap, what have I done? And then I went on again, and this one's even smaller than the blue one. And I was like, none of my yarns are the same weight. What am I going to do? Like, because I've been buying them by feel, not by, accuracy, because most of my yarns are, have not my language. They have no English language at all, or any sort of recognizable characters that I'm able to use, because it's all like Chinese, Japanese, or Korean, Thai, every other language. So I started again anyway, and I was like, right, I'm going to use proper sock yarn. Proper sock yarn. This is the yarn that from my my fake boyfriend socks, my boyfriend mistake socks, and this is the not just socks colorway or type of yarn from Spotlight in Australia, which is like a kind of hobbycraft, or what's the one you're always talking about? Like Joann's in America? Or Michael's, that's the one. Anyway, so this is just a basic one. And I started again. But then I started off doing it down here. And you might be able to see hang on. So you see those little pearl bumps? They're not supposed to be there. I didn't want them there. And then I figured out how to do it, how to not get pearl bumps. See that nice little seam? That was lovely. But I was like, I'm not going to start this with a non-correct square. And I have loads of this yarn left. So I was like, oh, let's start again. So I finally did it. And I was like, yay, this is so nice. So I got a whole really nice seam coming up from here to here. And I got the nice size. It was nice and big. And I was like, I can do this. Like the blanket's going to come up really quickly if I do it like this. It's really, really nice. The colours are satisfying. It's really pretty. So then I started and I added in my my shawl, the hedgehog fibres. And the stitch count was off or something, because it ended up going, instead of like a square, it went like square, and then it started going whoop, and I was like, what? It's like a parallelogram. So I must have miscounted the stitches or something, and I'm just like, how are people finding this enjoyable? I think I don't count stitches. They're saying it's like a relaxing thing, and I'm like, well, you have to count, and then you have to be like, okay, I'm at the 3, and you can't put a marker in the middle, and you're like, oh gosh. And there is a method where you can like put a marker in the middle and then do like 2 rows where you can decrease either side of that marker. But I didn't really like the look of that, but I think I'm going to have to do that because I'm obviously incapable of doing anything Reeds to Poe. Oh, I cannot do this. So I've had 3 goes at starting this soccer and blanket now. I was going to say a bad word. I didn't. Go me. And it's a challenge. Everyone seems to love it. Everyone seems to love it. So I'm sure once I get into it, it'll be great. What do you think? I don't know. We'll see. I have all my minis. They're all, well, I say my minis. These are all the yarns that I've actually used, but I don't know if they're going to be suitable because they're all the wrong weights. You know, I've got a couple that are the right weights, I think. But yarn is so different, you know. So I've got like some from my neon zebra socks. The lighting's gone a bit weird. It was much better earlier on today. Oh, that's better. Yeah, so I've got my neon zebra socks. I've got these from my my opposite socks. And then I started winding them up into these little hand wound balls, which I love. I'm doing these a lot more actually. I think I'm going to do these instead of skeins because they're just ready to roll, you know. I like them. I like them a lot. Little ball. I know this is going to be a lot thicker. It's not really, I mean, I think it is fingering weight, but how do you tell? I should get one of those wraps per inch job things. So I have this little bowl, and it's my new little decoration because they're so pretty. Look, and then you can like put different ones up. And I've got like tiny little scraps wound up into bowls, and I just dropped some lavender oil on them just to make it smell nice and to keep I don't know, we've had a problem with cockroaches in the flat, so I've got some borax and a couple of cockroach traps and kind of baits and things like that out, and hopefully that'll sort the problem out. But do cockroaches damage yarn? I'm really worried about that. Do they eat it? No, I know moths do, but do cockroaches? Question. Thank you. What else? Oh my gosh, I've done so much. It's nearly an hour and 10 minutes. I think I'm done. Have I got everything? I don't even know. It's been so long. If I think of anything, I'll add it in the next one. So hopefully by next week I will be working and I will film another podcast maybe on the Friday or Saturday. I'll probably be back to weekend hours. I think I'm working 4 days a week to start, and then they'll put me up to 5 days a week once I'm trained up. So I've got a new job. I'm excited about it. They're dying to let me start. I'm dying to start. Although I am loving not working as well, and like knowing that I have a job, it's just I can't start because the paperwork hasn't come through. So all I have to do is sit and knit. It's pretty nice. So, but still, it's not going to last forever. I love having my own kitchen again. I love cooking. Love it. So I'm loving making everything, and James just finished work, so I'm going to make some dinner and knit for a bit. Oh, our internet arrived yesterday. Amazing. So I've been catching up on all the podcasts. I'm not going to tell you all of them because literally I've just been watching nonstop like 12 hours straight. Too many. I'm just going to talk about one. I've just started watching Pin, Feathers and Pearls, Candace, and I've only watched like the first 2. I love her, and she loves mint twins, minty goodness. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I love you all. Thank you so much for putting up with me, and I'm sorry it's been so long, but it will be more regular for the next 6 months because that's how long my contract is in work. Yay! Bye! Oh wait, I'm not finished. One more thing. Game of Thrones. Oh my God. I'm not going to say anything. Everyone's talking about it, but no one's saying anything. You guys. Winter is coming. Okay, now I'm done.
There you go.
Sometimes if it's choppy, you'll see him jump out of the water a little bit more.
There you are. Woo. Oh, two of them.
They decide to keep it again. He gave it like before.